Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. I started out here in this shed for a reason. Maybe we will come back out here in a minute. But as you can see, it is overloaded. If you watch this channel for a while, you know that's not how I like to operate. But I'm gonna point the camera in this direction for a second. Keep in mind this space right here, and keep in mind this space up here where that shed is as well, that whole area right here, because that's gonna be part of our conversation. I am contemplating 4 different options right now for my business, and I'm kind of paralyzed, to be honest with you. You ever feel that way? You ever feel like you can't quite make a decision? I've put myself in a position over time. Whoa! I'm glad I caught that with my foot. These are actually pretty cool. Yes, they sit up like that. I love that. I used to work for a school that was the Hilltoppers, and they would have a ram as their emblem. I was kind of attracted to those. Anyway, we are going to pick today, but I really want your help. I want to have a really good dialogue in the discussions below, because I know a lot of people are in this position, but maybe not quite at this scale, maybe bigger scale, actually. I got to find 2 Smurfs. Hold on. Okay, I found them. A little telephone one right here, and this is like a, I don't know, teacher, somebody teaching up there, I'm not sure. Me yapping my head off. $11.90 plus shipping. And I think I recognize that name, so I'm going to say it's a viewer sale. Scott, the Walking Door. I believe you've bought from us before, so Scott, thank you. I appreciate that. And I've got 4 basic paths laid out in front of me. You've seen me do some things over the last year or 2 that have been building to this point. And I've also talked about debt. I've also talked about quite a few other things. When I quit my job, I've talked about, you know, if you're prepared when a door is opened, you can walk through that door. And that's where I'm at right now. I've been prepared. I've been disciplined. I've put away money. I've talked about this before, being able to take a percentage of what you make all the time. I did this when I was broke, y'all. I did this a long time ago and put it in an operating budget. And that's what I've done. And I've just continued that on the same course. So I have options in front of me right now. But my basic tendencies, my basic desire is for peace over money. It always has been. I think a lot of people who do what we do feel that way as well. Sometimes it's the extra money that brings the peace. I get that as well. So I'm going to present 4 different paths that I'm thinking about right now. And I want to get your honest feedback, because there's people in different parts of this whole process along this road with a lot of experience. And I have the ability to do all of these things right now. Every single one of these things I'm going to talk about. And I just am paralyzed with trying to figure out which path is the right one for me. And like I said, I have to pick through this because we have 28 sales for around $1,000 going out of here today. These 3 sold to 3 different people. We have just 4 left, I think. And they've been selling more because I put them on discount to get them finally gone. Probably shouldn't have done that, but they're at, what, just under 10 bucks or something, $9.96, $9.94. Anyway, 3 different people bought these. I don't see any messages, so I don't know that you're viewers, but if any of you are, thank you. We appreciate it. We've done really well on these. At this discounted level, we're only making about $4 on them profit. But when we had them up at 15, we were making like $8 or $9, and we had hundreds of them. I take that back. I scrolled up, and there's one more, and this one was to a viewer for sure. So I'm going to read that one. We're down to 2 left is all. Well, that doesn't make sense. It says 2 left. Sometimes when I do multi-quantity, I'll put extra. So we actually have 3 left, even though only 2 are listed. You know what else I did? Way back when. I took each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These were the 5 that we had. I think at this point we only have these 2 left. And so these sold out a long time ago, or maybe it's these 2 left. I don't remember. But at any rate, if you bought these from us over the years, we really do appreciate it. That was a crazy good deal. Multi-quantity deal, 5 listings, and we've been selling them for years. And we're down to the nitty-gritty. I'm going to have to check now that you don't care. Which Firebird is left? Yeah, it's that one that's left. And that is all we have out of those. But I kept all of them. I don't know why. Maybe we'll throw them over on Vinted or something. I'm not sure. And if you've been watching me, you know, I usually don't talk about my finances other than how it relates to my business and things that I've done for a long time. And I know this is not the typical way to do things. This is what I've taught my kids, and hopefully it sticks. It certainly has with my oldest son for the most part. He does still buy way too expensive clothing. Like, man, how could you spend $100 on a sweatshirt? Anyway, I have, for a long, long time, I've abhorred debt. That's why I got into reselling, because I could see that my teaching salary was never going to support a family that I didn't have at the time. And so I started off and made pretty wise decisions most of my life, but I've never bought new cars, never have, never even come close. I don't think I've ever bought a car with less than 100,000 miles on it. And we're at that point. We've got 2 cars that are, that have, I think my wife's is like 250. So she needs a new car. But I have always put away money, and that was in my personal life. If I could, sometimes you can't. Like, for instance, I opened up a Roth IRA with a minimum amount, and I put the minimum amount that you could put in every single month. And that's all we had, and that was tough to do. I did that when I was making, $37,000 a year and working my butt off. And my wife, she worked for a little while, but when we started having kids, we decided we wanted her at home and to help with this business. It's been great for our family. And, because we had that discipline, I always had a growing operating budget. I could always grow my business, but in tiny amounts. And when I picked up this camera, you guys were so great, gracious enough to watch this channel years and years ago. That's what led to this shed. This is like the only thing I've taken out a loan on in a long time. And it had to do with that Inaman over there. And I had a little bit of money, but not enough quite to get it done. But there was a plan to have it paid off with that Inaman. That was we were selling 20 a day. I'm like, I've got 3,000. I think we'll be all right. It was crazy. So thank you for that. And it allowed us to expand the business to here. And then slowly over time, I decided we were going to expand and go out there and do that. And it's worked out so great. So now I'm at a point in my life and a point in my business where I have to make up my mind what I want to do at this point. And I'm going to give you the 4 things. But let me pick one more thing first. This is going to be a fun one to ship. I might use a trash bag for this. I'm not sure. The box isn't terribly sturdy. Pack it full, make it really sturdy, and use a construction bag. Or the boxes that these come in, maybe 2 of those combined will be this height. I don't think they're that width. I'll have to reshape it, but this is a nice sale. Finally headed out of here. And I had it listed for more. I think we at one point had it listed for like $89 or something like that. And it's just been sitting. So I'm like, you know what? Let's get it out of here. $60 plus shipping. By the way, when I give you these options and ask you to chime in, just, I realize people are in totally different situations. And I wish people could see the way that me and my family lived 8-9 years ago. It's not that very much different than right now, and that's what's put us in this position. We make far more money with reselling and social media than I ever did with reselling and teaching. The reselling money is exponentially larger. Well, I don't know about exponent. Well, yeah, I suppose. I used to hope my last few years of teaching before I picked up a camera to somehow squeak out, $90,000 in income, half of it from reselling and half of it from teaching. I'm not sure we ever got there, to be honest with you. We got close. But, you got a family of 5 people, plus all these dogs and cats my wife and daughter like to collect. And it's tough. It's tough in this world with kids and trying to figure out education and all that stuff. But we have worked together really hard to make sure we make it work. I really want to encourage people to, when it's tough, to figure out a way to get on the right side of the balance sheet to eliminate your debt completely. I feel like I almost want to start a Facebook group for this where people post, I don't know if people would like this or not, they post what their debt is and what their goals are and how they're using reselling to get out of that debt and what their strategies are, and talk about different strategies that I've used and other people have used to do it. But we have managed to stay out of debt when we had some years. I remember one year my wife was pregnant and it was a rough pregnancy and she had a little one already. It was tough. And I wasn't able to make as much money reselling because I didn't have her help and because I didn't have the time because I had to do the stuff that she was doing. And man, we probably made $60,000 that year, and it was not easy with all the expenses that we had to not go backwards. And that wasn't that long ago. But we managed to do it. I remember, praying, hoping things would sell so we had enough money to go on vacation, and the vacation was paid for by my in-laws. So there's tough times. So just keep that in mind. But I really do want to encourage people, especially in this day and age, to figure out the right way to get on the right side of the balance sheet and use reselling to do it and be strategic, know your numbers, and get that second or third account, an operating account, and I don't even want to call it a rainy day account, an account where you can accumulate money to pay off any debt that you have. If you don't have debt, that thing just accumulates, and when the door becomes open to you, you can walk through it. And I'm at that point where I can walk through another door. I just don't know which door to choose. So I want your input. I always say, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. The first one is simple. It is what my inclination is. I'm going to grab 2 posters out of here. I guess I'll show them to you. I think this is one of them, but I have to unwrap it. 2 Disney posters. Another multi-quantity listing that I didn't mention the other day. We still have 18 of the duplicates left, so we have hundreds of these left. I have tubes and tubes of this stuff inside. I think this is the other one, so I'll pull one out of there. You're seeing them on the screen right now. The first door is simple. I have enough money accumulated in my operating budget to pay off my home. And it's been a dream of mine for a long time. My interest rate is ridiculously low, however. And so it's like, what do you do? By the way, I took every dime from those Inaman and I paid off this shed and the work that was done on the inside of it in 3 months. So that's just how, just to give you a perspective where I'm coming from when I'm looking at these decisions here. I've never owned a credit card except for the business credit card that I started about 4 years ago. It's the only one I've ever had. Well, that's not true. I had one. I just never used it before. So I'm adamant about that. I would much rather have peace than to owe anybody. I use these idioms and these proverbs all the time, and that's me. The borrower is servant to the lender. I don't want to owe anybody anything, period, ever. I hate it. That's why I hate doing consignment deals, too. As dumb as it sounds, it's like, I'm responsible to pay this person this. I don't even want to do that. I hate it. I just want that peace. So for me, the first choice opens up 3 windows. If I choose to pay off this house, I still have enough money to do 3 more things that I want to do. One of 3 things. There's actually one that I'm going to do almost no matter what, and people chime in on this too. I do want a van. I don't want to spend a ton of money on it, but I need it to be good enough to take a trip to, wherever, and to fill this up, because this is part of the equation no matter which way I go from here. So maybe, I don't know, $10,000 to $25,000 on a van or something like that. I think that's going to happen regardless. I already have the large trailer. I have the small trailer. And so I'm set up, but what I don't have is space. So if I pay off the house, I'll have enough to create more space. And more than likely it would be like a metal building in that corner of the yard that I put out there. And it would basically just be storage, because I really have enjoyed getting into these bulk buyouts and having merchandise to be able to sell off like crazy over on Dibdit. Dibdit is finally at the point for me, it's grown large enough, and for a bunch of other sellers as well, not for everybody over there yet, that I'm getting, when I used to sell on Whatnot, we're getting as much or more on Dibdit right now for me. And part of the reason why is because we can offer so much cheaper shipping to people, but they're paying less, I'm not making less. It's just, anyway, that's part of this equation, is the live selling part. And I need space and I need lots of merchandise, because I'm never going to sacrifice this. I'm never going to sacrifice going out to garage sales and selling stuff on eBay. It's my true passion. It's my love. I love this shed. I love doing this, and this will remain no matter what. Dogs have joined me. Sold off some tool buckets, y'all. Those have been hanging around for quite a while, but since I'm outside, I thought I'd show you this up here. Second more expensive option is to put a 2-car garage there with either a working area above it or behind it. that could do even more than that metal building and serve multiple purposes, maybe even a living space. You know, we've got parents and stuff that we might use that space someday for. And that would be significantly more money, but it would also add value to the house if and when we ever decided to move, which my wife desperately wants to be at the beach one day. And I'm sure we will be in retirement, I hope. Look, they're sad. They're like, no, don't go to the beach. We like it here. Yeah, I like it here too. Maybe we'll keep this and figure that out later. Now, 2 more choices. And this is where I feel like the most opportunity is. But it goes against what I typically do, which is to not have any debt. Not pay off the house. I mean, we got a ridiculously low interest rate. And to buy a piece of property, there's a couple that I have in mind already that have massive amount of space. That's not very far from my home. 2 massive bays. You could like park RVs in each of them, and then one smaller area, and then an office working area as well. I'm like, holy moly, I could run a massive operation out of there. And I know it would be, I'm not going to say I know it would be successful. It would likely be successful, but it would require me bringing on just full-time, maybe more than full-time. I mean, she comes and goes as she pleases right now. I've never really wanted employees. But that is an option as well, and an opportunity. I think I could probably lease out 2 of the spaces and use 2 of the spaces. So there's an opportunity. I don't have enough money to pay for that, however. So it would require a loan and not paying off this house. Good chunk of it, though, could get paid for. And then one other option that I've been toying with as well, which is, and I've talked to Jess about this, Jess rents down here in town. I was like, you know what, I could buy a property, a home, and she could rent the top out, and I could have the bottom basement area, and it would be enough space to run the operation that I want to run. So there's another option. So I've got all these options in front of me. I have the capital to do it because we've been disciplined about this. We really have not lived outside of our means, even though our income has gone up from what it used to be in the past. And I see so many opportunities in reselling right now. I have more opportunities to source in bulk than I've ever had because I've searched them out. And I'm overwhelmed by them. I have to turn them down all the time because it's not really what I want to do. I want to continue to do this. So if I had the space, I could do that, and I could do what I love and continue to go to garage sales all the time and do exactly this right here. So there you go. I'd love to hear your input on this, no matter where you're at in the situation. Maybe you've done this. Maybe you've bought a building to expand your business. Maybe it was a failure. Maybe it was a success. What I definitely don't want to do is rent a space to do it. That is just not me. I mean, as you can tell, I'd rather buy these sheds because now I own the shed. Now it adds property and value to my property, whatever. I just do not want to rent sheds, rent storage units. And I know people do it and they have success and there's very little risk to it, so I understand it. It's just not me. $10.46 plus shipping for that Tupperware. I love buying these little Tupperware things. I probably should have sold those 2 separate. I would have got as much for that as I probably would have for this whole thing. But you know what? A lot of people in RVs and campers and stuff, they love this stuff with caps that you can seal. So stuff gets jostled around. Anyway, I probably paid $1 for all of it and sold for $10.46 plus ship. As you know, I think you do anyways, if you watched the last video, or I'm not sure the order it came out. I bought an entire storage unit, a massive storage unit where somebody operated an eBay business out of just last week. And I was kind of figuring I don't think I have that listed. I need to have that listed. I kind of figured that I knew where I wanted to head, and then I bought that thing out and I'm like, this is interesting. I thought I sold all of these. All right, I grabbed all 3 of these. I sold 3 already. I think all 3 of these have sold. I will have to check. Maybe there's 1 left. No, it says they're all gone. Liberty University Traver Hats SGA stadium giveaways sell very good at the very beginning. So be the first one out there. If you go to an event and they're giving away a bobblehead or something, list it while you're sitting there. That's how important it is to get them sold quickly. They are all gone. I made about $72 profit total on all 6 sales. 1 listing, they're all gone. So they're not all gone. 1 is still available. So $12 profit a piece, selling for $14.95, and they were free. So there you go. But I still have 1 more to go. Let me know out there if you operate your business out of a leased space, a space you own that's outside of your home. If you purchased it for that purpose, I know people who have done that. Let me know if you have a storage unit that you rent and go there, pick things, come back, or do you operate the whole business out of there? Let me know if you're doing it out of your basement, out of your garage. Let me know how you're doing it out there. Sold an Arctic, I think this might be the last one, tumbler. All of them went at full price except for this one. I don't know why, but it finally went on clearance and it sold. I paid $3 a piece for them because it was a multi-quantity listing. And I got full price for all of them except for this one, sold for just under $12. So we're still making money. Not as much as we did on the other ones, but I'll take it, plus shipping. If you watch my videos over time, and a lot of people send me messages because they figure out where I'm going before I actually get there. I've talked a lot lately about Eeasier, which is now available for everybody, honestly. I've said up to this point that, you know, it's not for everybody, but at this point, because you don't have to do a plan anymore, you can just get 100 of them for 15 bucks. By the way, go down there and check it out. If you think you have a particular listing that would be really, really good to just wipe them out completely. Why am I looking in here? I'm trying to find, you know what? I know where I put it. It's an electronic, which would normally go in here, but it was a little bit too small to put in there. I don't want it to get smashed. So this one, Jensen's Sport SAB 55. I love selling this stuff. This stuff is awesome when I find it. It's $25 plus shipping. So for me to make this kind of investment or expansion, it's really because of, there's 3 different outlets, major outlets. That's the static outlet that I've traditionally done, traditionally on eBay. The fact that we've built up Dibdit over time to make it very cost effective, especially for me. I essentially effectively pay 10% less in fees than I would if I was selling on the other site. It's not true for everybody, but it is for me. And the money you can, you know, you can cover your shipping costs. You know, you can maybe make $1 or $2 and still give shipping discounts to your folks because of the combined shows over time and the reduction in shipping. And shipping's going up, so that was the model we wanted to go with. And that community's been amazing for us, and it gives me so much hope that because it's in my hands, that I can control it better and I don't have as much risk. And it just takes a long time to build it. By the way, thank you for everybody who's come over there and helped us build that. It is a fun place. I've gotten to know so many of you people. Even if you don't want to buy or sell over there, come on over and join us. Say hi in the chats and we can talk on Dibdit.com. It's been good. So between the Dibdit stuff, the stuff I typically do, the live reselling, having Jess do it, between that, the fact that my kids are getting older, my daughter has shown quite an ability to and a desire to work with me and for me, which I've never pressured. But that gives me some encouragement as well, that she could make some money at the beginning of her adventure in life, if you will. And she's, you know, she's not driving yet, but she will be soon. And I'd like that idea. And so there's just so many things that are kind of coming together that make me want to do this. And one of them is Eeasier, to be perfectly honest with you. I've seen the power of it. I've seen the stories I get sent every day from people like, holy moly. One person said they signed up for the 1,000 plan, and by the end of the 2nd month, they signed up for the big giant plan. It's like 1,000 wasn't enough. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Somebody sent me a message. I just listed 2,000 things in 42 minutes. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That's changing the reselling game. And so space becomes important at that point for some of us. And I could keep doing it the way I'm doing it. I'm happy. I'm peaceful. I don't have any debt. But man, I also like creativity. I also like adventure. I also like building something with other people like we've done with Dibdit. And so I'm really am tempted to scale the heck out of this thing and to make it something amazing. But I'm a little apprehensive because I'm risk averse. I hate leverage. I don't want to have my life leveraged. I want to be able to put my head on the pillow at night and go to bed and not worry about anything. So, I don't know. Tell me what you think. In spite of all the challenges, the shipping costs and the fees and the, you know, blackouts and the hiding of stuff and all the stuff people talk about and eBay's nonsense sometimes, I'm so bullish on reselling. This will tell you right here. I actually have 2 more boxes of tape. Got tape over there. I bought tons of boxes. I've got paper out there. You know what? My go-to tape, y'all go check it out. Link below, code Commonwealth. You can save 5% on that. And I buy the 3-inch tape. I absolutely love it because of efficiency, quickness. One little batch of tape. You don't have to tape it 17 times. And anyway, this little beachwear curling iron sold for $17.46 plus shipping. Sold a Scooby-Doo keychain. Those are going like $7.30 or something like that for the Scooby-Doo keychains. And we still got a bunch of those left. People always buy them this time of year for stocking stuffers, which I really, really like. I don't think this is a viewer. Sometimes these are. I don't see a message. $7.28 for that one. Also have a social media business, of course. And, you know, it's the holiday time coming up here and Christmas. And we like to do that down in the basement and just have a different experience and decorate it. And that's where I do the podcast, where I do live selling. And I kind of want to separate my life a little bit more, my family life, from the business. And it has encroached for sure. So that is a consideration that I know a lot of you have. Look at all the paper I bought. I bought so many supplies. I got enough bubble wrap. This is only this part. We also have a shipping station inside for live selling. I think Jess is in there right now shipping out Dibdid orders. So nice to have her back. And that is one other factor. You know, we give her an absolute full-time job if we did this expansion, where she could work 40, 50 hours a week instead of coming by and doing whatever. We could give her a real job that lasts for a long time, hopefully. See that little hesitation in there? But it really, you know, I don't ever want to have anything where I have 10 employees or whatever, because that adds stress too. You feel, you know, when her mom was sick, I'm like, man, that's somebody who works for you. And I'm like, I don't know what to do for her. You know, I'm like, hey, take your pay, even though you're not here. She wouldn't do it, of course. This one's cool. I love this thing. It's like a little scuba diving fisherman or something. I'm not quite sure yet. I gotta look it up. Frogman Scuba Diver. $5.95 plus shipping. And this Smurf was a viewer. Hey, Mr. Kevin. I'm curious. I've had a massive uptick in buyers from China asking for close-up photos of tags on clothing and other items. The only thing I can think is they are trying to avoid counterfeits. I doubt it. I have or they are trying to counterfeit themselves. That's probably much more likely. I think you should send Carrie to Beijing to investigate. I joke, but if it's worst case scenario and the counterfeits are moving into U.S. goods, it's bad for business. Oh, counterfeits have been here a long time, and that has been bad for business for sure. I've advocated all these stupid legislation. The last 2 big pieces of legislation came out of D.C. were utterly ridiculous. Put so much of the onus on us instead of taking care of it on that end. I'm very hopeful that stuff can be stemmed, because it's a scourge on reselling to have so many fakes. And there's let's just face it, most people are perfectly fine paying 1/10 of the price for a garbage fake. And I get it, but it does really complicate the reselling game for sure. So my guess is none of them bought anything. I don't think I'd just ignore that stuff, Tom. That's what I would do. Tell me what you would do down below. I think having more space could separate my business into the things I want to sell. I love to sell, the enjoyment of it. I've got to find a Guitar Hero Legends of Rock. There it is. And to have another space where it's, you know, list easier stuff that's maybe not my niche, but it can be organized and have a SKU. Like, I don't need a SKU in here. This is fine. I know where all this stuff is. You know, people tell me I'm crazy for this, but it's just second nature to me. I've been doing it so long. But if I had, you know, ephemera, a warehouse full of ephemera, I'm not going to know where it is. So, anyway, $13.96 for that one plus shipping. Y'all, Christmas is around the corner, and somebody just bought some Valentines from me. Now I just need to find them. I'm looking for X-Men Marvel. I bet that's it right there. I bought these. I bought a ton of these, if you remember. We sold a bunch off over on Dibdid very quickly. But some of the ones that I thought were super cool, I wanted to hold on to and list. And we've sold most of those over here too. That's all we have left. These sold for $24.95. I think I paid $30 for all of them. And I bought an absolute ton. So those are cool. I wish I could show you that other cover, but I don't really want to take it off. But some vintage, I think they were from Kmart, Power X-Men Valentine's cards. 25 bucks plus shipping. This is cool. Didn't last long. The Carpenter's record. This is in great shape. Bought it for $1 at a yard sale the other day. And I remember my mom having this one. It was in very good condition. Outer, inner, all of it. And that one sold very quickly for $24.95 plus shipping. So a lot of Carpenter's records aren't going to fly off the shelf. But at Christmas time, that one does really well. Decided to lower the price on these bandanas that have been here forever, thinking maybe Christmas we get a few sales, and we did. I don't think that's the right one though. That's the big Stone Cold one. I think there's another one in here, if I can find it without boring you to tears. Is it down here? Nope. Hold on. There, I found it. That one has a lot more skulls, but they're smaller. So, Stone Cold, brand new with the tags. And somebody said, we could do 13 bucks on it. And I'm like, yeah, I suppose we've made a bunch of money off of it. $13 plus shipping. Actually, that was $13 free shipping. So, we used to get, I think originally when I listed those, they were $24.95. We made a few sales at that. Then they dropped, I think we dropped them down to $22.95 at one point. And so now they're all the way down. I think they're at like 15, somewhere around there. And then I took it off her for 13. Here we go. Catholic Youth Bible. Paid $1 for this one. These typically aren't crazy good. I've picked a few up in the past, but it's $12.95 for shipping. If there's one thing I don't like selling more than I don't like selling shoes, it's pants. And so this is, we used to have bins and bins and bins of pants. You may have heard me tell the story of, this might go to my point from earlier, of selling jeans and taking all the profit from every pair of jeans that I sold, every single dime of it, and putting it in an account. And that's how I paid in cash for my wife's wedding ring. I hate that, even for a wedding ring. If she's worth having as a wife, she's worth paying for that ring. This is Old Navy. That's not, I don't know why that's listed, but at any rate, who knows how long that's been here. I am looking for a Saks Fifth Avenue pair of pants. Maybe, nope, that's not it either. It's got to be this right here, I think. Let's hope. Nope, that's not it either. Jeez, this has got to be it. Once these pants are gone, if I never list another pair of pants in my life, I'll be happy. Unless it's like a Harley pant or something that's kind of cool. I don't know, I might go back to it someday. Saks Fifth Avenue. These did not sell forever. Went on 30% off. Finally sold, and I'm glad they're gone. I think $12.96 plus shipping. $12.57 actually. This hat, boy, I was negotiating. I took some flack on the Commonwealth Picker channel when I bought this one. It is a racing hat, and I think they wanted $5 for this one, and there's another one. I'm like, I can't do $5 on it, but it was cool, and I wanted it. I think I got 2 for $6. So I ended up paying $3 for this, and it sold for $19 plus shipping. This is a Human Abstract CD lot. I'm gonna take this here because I'll forget about it. I was just storing NES in here. I should probably just sell the case. I don't think it's Nintendo branded. Anyway, people 3D print these now. There's one guy over on Dibdit selling 3D printed trays for NES. This one sold for $14.95 plus shipping. I really don't understand why these pups are in here like this. They normally come in here. How you doing? And just want their, you know what? I'm not going to say it because they'll get up. But the family is all here today. So normally when that's the case, they're upstairs with the kids. Maybe they were just worn out and needed a break. I was also thinking if I had a space like that, I literally could, I mean, this place is huge. I could lease out spaces to resellers who do what we do. I mean, there's enough local people that I could probably do that, and maybe even have common areas that make sense to make it cheaper. And I don't know. There's just so many options out there, and I really, really am torn right now. I think my heart tells me to do that, to really expand this thing, grow this thing. And my head says, you know what? You never know what's coming. You know, you got an opportunity. You could pay off your house way faster. I've always paid extra on my house, even when I was making, you know, 42 grand a year. I don't care if it was $5 more. I was paying extra. It was going to happen. So, I don't know. Tell me what you think. This guy sold right here. Bought that off of Dibdit. And I got it. And I'm like, dang, that was way better. I can't remember what I paid, but it was in the teens, I think. Super Explorer Colonel Ed Macaulay Metal Aladdin Lunchbox. These go for really good money. It has some damage to it, unfortunately. And there are some really good comps on these, but it does also have, I mean, you see, it's not in great shape, but it does have that, and that is in good shape. The inside is not great either. I think the big selling point was that, so we did not put it out there near the comps, because the comps were just better condition, and it still sold, and it sold quickly for $80 plus shipping. Sold some Gore-Tex BMW branded, I think, motorcycle boots, not new or anything, but $41.97 plus shipping. Sold some lipstick, I think it's lipstick anyways. Dirty Talk. I bought a bunch of this at a sale. I just grabbed it all. I'm like, this stuff's been selling for me like crazy. Then I looked it up, I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. I don't even know what it says. Dirty Talk Ardonna? I don't know how to pronounce it. At any rate, $12 plus shipping on this one. I think I paid $1. Egg prices went back down. The chicken craze has subsided, so I don't sell as many egg keepers for Tupperware that I used to. Boy, when that craze was going on, I would sell these things like crazy for like 15 bucks. But price has gone down a little bit. This one had to go out on discount, and it sold for $10.50. I probably paid $1 for it. It's typically, sometimes I pay $2 for these if they're clean and I don't have to do any work, but I don't think I'm going to pay $2 anymore, because this one only got $10.50 plus shipping. Alright, y'all, Gargamel sold. This one is pretty cool. If it had like Azrael, it would be even better. But this one sold for $15.95 plus shipping. Sometimes I'm amazed at what sells. I don't even know where I got this. So when I don't know when I bought something, because I pretty much remember everything I buy, it either came in Death Pile Picker's lot, or it just came out of this storage unit that I just bought out. Which is very possible, because it just got listed. And I didn't even list this one. Most time I'm the one who goes through and lists this stuff. But lately, we've bought so much, it's like, okay, all hands on deck. This is a pretty little fancy seat cushion, little fur. What does that say? Pinche little car seat cushion, I guess. I don't know. 15 bucks though. Plus shipping. You buy a storage unit, you know, you figure out all the stuff you can make money on, and I've been tallying up my listings and selling off what I've sold already, what Joey Pinjo is selling. And between the listings we've done and what we've sold already, we're almost break even, and that thing is still chock full of stuff. Unfortunately, it's not sexy stuff. It's not stuff I love. I already pulled the stuff I love. I haven't listed it all yet though. And so there's going to have to be a few more buyouts, if you will. Somebody's going to have to come in and buy all that industrial lighting, because I don't want to list it. But there you go. If I had a giant building, I could, you know, list them on Facebook, sell them one off at a time locally, or maybe make a bulk deal, who knows. But I'd have options. Right now, I want it all gone by the end of the month, which means I'm going to have to fire sell it, which is fine, because we're going to make plenty of money on that unit. Honestly, if it wasn't for the success of Dibdit, where I had that control over a platform, I don't think I would even consider buying a property like that. I would just pay off my house and keep building and putting in buildings or doing whatever if I wanted to expand. But I just looked at this show's going well. I just looked at the numbers, and the last 7 days, it's approaching $40,000 in sales. And I only did 2 shows. So I think Dave did 2 shows. So the bulk of that money is other people, which is amazing. So glad we could build this for some people. It's just like any other live selling site. And well, it's not like any other live selling site. It's way more of a community. And most of the people know each other, and there's some accountability on both ends. And it's never perfect though, right? But what I mean by it's just like a live selling site, there's still the same challenges. You still have to build audiences. There's kind of a built-in one there, and it doesn't get too much distraction. You don't have to pay to promote and do all those other things. and it's a little bit more of a homey feel to it. But it's really working for me lately, thanks to you guys and all the resellers on there buying, and the people who just know you can get a great deal on stuff. And so it's encouraging me, the success of this, where some little upstart can have success, that it means that we have options, or at least I have options. And I see so many other folks over there having success too. Some don't. Some try it and it just doesn't work out for them, because all those same things are still true. Where you've got to have massive inventory. You've got to buy it cheap. You've got to like being on there, on the video, whether it's showing the item or in person. So live selling is not for everybody, folks. It just isn't. But it's a part of my business that I've really liked, especially because I have Jess's help and my wife and my daughter. Because I wouldn't do this on my own. I don't know how some people do it. I get it if it's all you do, but I'm never giving up static selling. I'm just not. I love it too dang much. But I got to get my butt going, because I've got 30 items to ship. By the way, that one put us over $1,000 here. So does that look like $1,000 worth of stuff to you? Crazy. Anyway, and these pups don't want to say goodbye, but I'm going to. Hey, y'all, I have forgot for a few videos right here to thank a few people. Susan sent us 2 wonderful boxes full of handcrafted Christmas ornaments. My wife has them upstairs, so thank you very much to Susan. She's from Key West. That's where my great-grandmother was from. Old Man Picks, Frank. This is a super nice gift. Thank you very much. I love Bull Durham. That was a great movie. And what did he say here? Old Man Picks. I have more. That's the eBay store. Old Man Picks. Appreciate you, Frank. Thank you for joining us. Sorry for the long video, but thank you for your comments below and let me know. I'll make this decision here in the maybe by the end of the year. We'll see. I want to enjoy the holidays, but thank you. Hopefully your Q4 is going well, and I know it is for some and it's not for others. We appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you next time.